Hello, this is the Home Doc. I wanted to go over, I have my 304D excavator here in the garage. Snowing outside. It's been kind of a cold winter past couple weeks. So I said, well, my tracks are about to fall off, and I was trying to get those replaced, and then, we're going to start putting a road in and a house build and everything. So I said, well, it's a good time to go ahead and do some maintenance on my excavator to get it right. So, but yeah, I basically, on getting the tracks off, one side came off okay. It was still difficult to come off, but this other side, basically where you see now with the track off, we had a very hard time getting the track off. And to be honest with you, we had to actually cut it off with a grinder. Basically, just cut the track right off. And I didn't really want to cut them off because I wanted to kind of maybe resell it or do something, because they're still usable, but they're worn, but they're not totally worn out yet. But yeah, the track, like I say, we're trying to get it off, and it would not come off. And so I went ahead and took the undercarriage, the whole assembly that basically has the roller, the idler roller, the spring, the piston, and everything in it. So, but let me show you on the table here that what we had to do and what was causing it not to collapse, basically. Because here's the idler wheel right here, and so I took all that apart, and then this here piece here was the piston, and it had a spring. Also, the spring, when we took it apart, it actually was broken. The spring was broken too on both sides. So I'm basically had to get another spring. But took everything apart, cleaned it up real good, used a needle scaler to get all the scale off of it, repainted it, and like I said, waiting on the spring. But what happened over here? You can see this is the old piston, and it has the chrome here on this side. But in here, it's all pitted real bad. I mean, it's got rust. And it would not allow the track to go back. And the seals inside, there's 3 seals in here, in this area, and my dad actually replaced those, and then we put this new piston in. But this here piston should slide all the way, it slides all the way back, which allows the track to be able to come off. See how it's kind of sliding? And so it goes all the way, too. So, but this one over here, these would not go back. I think this is the one that was really stuck. You can see it's all corroded and everything. And this is basically a good example of, this excavator was used for, it was around salt water. It was around, the guy was doing bulkheads and piers and things like that. So, and he really didn't maintain it like he should have. A lot of times you need to kind of wash it and rinse it. So it's a good idea to go ahead, and when you finish work like that, you need to wash it down and get it cleaned up so it will last. But and that's kind of what I'm doing now is I probably took 20 gallons of rust and dirt and sand and everything from the whole undercarriage and the rollers and up underneath there, off the machine. I've been just, needle scaling it and scraping it and cleaning it. And this has been about a week worth of work every day working on it to get it to this point. So, but like I said, I wanted to show you, if you have an excavator, you can't get the tracks off, more than likely this is seized up in here. And so we had to basically get Caterpillar and I've ordered 2 new ones. And like I say, we rebuilt this piston. And now I'm waiting on the spring, because now the spring was broken too. After we took it apart, we said, oh gosh, it fell apart there. So we had to get the spring to put all that back together. And but yeah, that's because I tried an 8-ton jack, bottle jack. I tried to come along, I put around the track to squeeze it to try to have the force to be able to get that piston in there, and it would not budge. It wouldn't budge at all. But let me show you, since I have it all apart here, and I got one side over here I put back together. So I want to show you that after I show you this here. But this is how it is inside. And you can see some of the rust in the pitting going in a little bit. Let's see, I've got a flashlight here. But you can see where I primed it with the red oxide primer. And then I came back with some more primer. And then I'm going to come back with black. And I'm going to put black all in here. And then after all that dries and we get ready to put it in, we're going to put grease. And put grease all on this carriage here. And on this rail up here. And on the sides. And grease it up real good. And grease that piston up that I showed you. That chrome piston. We'll chrome that all up. And all these wheels and everything. I'm going to get these greased up. And they're sealed. They're sealed and everything. But I'm still going to put some lubricant on either side. But yeah, we cleaned all that up, and I cleaned all under the undercarriage, primed it, and I got a video now that I'm changing the gear oil on the final drive. So if you want more detail about that, take a look at the other video I have that I just put out a little while ago on changing that, because that gear oil hasn't been changed ever. Like I said, we changed it yesterday. We ran it for about 30 minutes, just kind of cycling it through, and then I dumped it again, and we'll change it again. And that's supposed to be changed every year per Caterpillar, and it's 1 quart. So that's just kind of a little brief summary. But you can take a look at the video if you want all the details of it. I have another video on my channel that explains all of that, and the sizes and how to get those plugs out and everything, because they were kind of difficult. But all right, so you can see where I primed and cleaned all up under there. I did get the hoses a little bit painted too, but I tell you, there was mud and everything all up in here. The hoses were all full of mud all through this channel here, and I had to clean all that up. And then also the final drive motors, they were all packed with mud too. So I took the covers off of here, and these were all full of mud, and it was awful. It really was bad. So, but you can see now, I cleaned it up, got all this rust out of it, primed it a couple times. I'm gonna paint it black like I did over here. And this is the new Caterpillar track that I put on this side. But you can see it's looking a whole lot better, man. But let me kind of go over, like I say, this side over here is one I'm finishing up on one. I got to wait for the spring to come. But on this side, I basically put it back together. I'm getting ready to put the track back on. And like I say, if you never put a track on, it wasn't that difficult putting this on, because I was able to get that piston all the way. This here idler wheel slid all the way back into here. So, but you can see right here is where it's actually a grease fitting. Let me get a rag. But there's grease all in here. I'm trying to. But what you use, you have a 17 millimeter. It's a 17 millimeter socket, and you loosen this up a little bit, and that will release the pressure off of the track. And you can see it's moving. It's moving down a little bit, and it's moving down. It's taking the grease, and see it's squeezing the grease out of the plug. But that's the piston. You can see the piston there on that side, and it's chrome all the way to the end. And that whole idler undercarriage mechanism was able to go all the way back. So this track was a piece of cake to put on. It wasn't difficult at all. And then after you put it on, then you have to pump the grease in it. I've seen several things where you have to have like 2 fingers, and maybe an inch or so from the bottom of the track to, top of the track to the bottom of this wheel here. It should be like about an inch or so. And then you run it for a little while, and then you check it again. So that's what I'm going to do now. I will probably get my bottle jack, not bottle, but my floor jack. Just kind of lift this up a little bit, take some of the pressure off of it. But you don't have to, but it might just make it a little easier. I also had to change this roller here. This roller was totally bad, so I had to change that out. So that's a Caterpillar roller. And then I went ahead and bought Caterpillar tracks. So they're Caterpillar tracks there. So I bought all brand new tracks, and like I said, I spent some money. Spent some money on it. This is kind of my birthday present. So get it all. But you can tell, man, it looks a whole lot better. On there, some of the paint's drying still right there, but it's all cleaned up nice. And see, on that side, that's why I'm changing the gear oil, because the track's on it. It makes it a little easier, because you can't really, it's hard to access this plug here. And then all these other plugs. But I mean, you can do it with the tracks on, but it just makes it easier when the tracks are off. And but yeah, that's kind of about it on the undercarriage and changing the tracks out. And but like I say, if it's stuck and you can't get it off, I mean, I used a lot of pressure and a lot of force to try to get it. It would not come, and I had to eventually just cut it off. I just basically took a grinder and I ground this track right on through here, and it came off within a matter of 30 minutes or so. I mean, I was able to cut it right off of there, and I didn't want to, but you sometimes you just got to do it. But hopefully that will help you and help you make it easier for you. And if please, you put your comments, and if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and it helps spread the word to other people on this type of kind of repair. And thank you again for watching, and I hope you'll have a great day. Bye-bye.